Hello and welcome to Straight Shooting with Dan and Joseph. Tune into this podcast to get the latest news on competitive shooting events and to learn how to become a better shooter. Remember to subscribe to the podcast and be sure to recommend it to all of your shooting friends. Hello and welcome to episode 12. I'm Dan alongside Joseph Stacker here, and you're listening to Straight Shooting with Dan and Joseph. Today's show, we're going to have a few ARA score updates. Going to go over our 4th of July weekend, what we did over the weekend. We got Jim Cannon's going to be on the line, talk to us about NRL 22 Open Rifles, and to go over the Ely Rocky Mountain Regional NRL 22 match that we just were at, and go over some of those winners and congratulate them. And Joseph's going to give us a brief recap of his Oklahoma match, went up there for the USPSA. Was that a sectional?
I think so. It was called the Oklahoma Sectional.
Oklahoma Sectional, and go over that. So, got a good episode coming to you today, so stay tuned. All right. We just wrapped up the 4th of July weekend, and I kind of laid around, didn't do a whole lot. We did some here. We did, my mother cooked out and had us all over. We did some cornhole and, of course, the fireworks and whatnot.
Y'all are all about that cornhole now.
We're getting into the cornhole a little bit.
If you want to boost a new sport, you just got to get rid of all the rest of them.
That's right.
That's the easiest way.
You know, and honestly, that's what got me started on it, because that's the only thing you can watch on ESPN that's live. But and it's fun, and I still like to compete, and it's something a little different from shooting. So far I hadn't unloaded a lot of money into it.
I did a lot of fishing.
So yes, what seems that's what you seem to be doing if you're not shooting.
Yeah, y'all bought a bunch of cornhole stuff, and I bought a kayak. That's what I've been doing. But it's probably the same, because like I'll if there's nothing else to do other than just watch TV, I know that I spent money on this thing, so I'm gonna go use it. Like, I'll make myself go use it just to get my money out of it.
Absolutely. I don't blame you. All right, but it was a great 4th of July weekend. Had fun celebrating this great country that we live in. All right, ARA scores. Look at some updates here from the last couple of weeks. Finishing up June, we had Denton, North Texas Shooters Association, had their club tournament. Richard Gorham won it. Jim Moorhead was second. Marion Collier was third. They had over on the factory division at that same one club tournament, Nash Brown was your winner. Wabash had their state tournament, Indiana State Tournament. Greg Monroe won it. David Petty was second. Trent Schellebarger was third. In Denton, they also, a double tournament weekend, they had Texas State Tournament there with Jerry Hensler winning that. Gene Buckies was second, and Jerry Stiller was third. So Gene, that you'll recognize from being on the podcast with us just a few weeks ago, centerfire shooter, but moving over into the rimfire world, had him a good weekend there. Open Grove out in Oxnard, California, had a club tournament with Bob Myers winning, Larry Steinbrook in second, and Don Nielsen in third there. Congratulations to those shooters. And the Nash Brown back in Texas State Tournament also won the factory division there. The factory division there in Oxnard at Open Grove was Glenn Robinson won, Artie Bod was second, and Andrea Rotherham was third.
She's the one that won.
Yep, and then ARA had their quarterly rifle giveaway, and she won the drawing to get the Savage rifle with the Citron scope and the Ely semi-auto bench rest precision ammo. So she come out and shot that match and got her chances in there and got her name drawn. So congratulations to her.
Maybe that's the key. You just have to compete in the match the week before the drawing.
Maybe.
That's the secret.
That's what it was right there, and I don't know. That worked for her. So congratulations to those shooters. We've got some more matches coming up in the ARA here in July. And then we've got a busy schedule too coming up for July. Joseph's going to be out at Wichita Falls, Texas at the USPSA Double Tap Championships on July 18th. and then going to be heading up to Indiana for the ASSA National Championships in three position and prone small bore. Be there July 24th through 28th, along with Michelle Makusevich. So they'll be out there getting ready for I think it's the only national match this year for the three position and prone.
Yeah.
All the other ones have been canceled due to the COVID. And then Joseph's going to leave there, go over to Nebraska. July 30th to August 2nd, USPSA Area 3 Championships in Alden, Nebraska. And then don't have a whole lot going on until the end of August.
I'm
And
glad.
then you got get
That's-
a couple. It's going to be hot.
That's a lot of driving.
It'll be hot, and then you're going to get to head to Florida to the Glock Area 6 in New Smyrna Beach. And then we're up Labor Day weekend to St. Louis, the Bench Rest Rifle Club of St. Louis. Going to have our ARA National Tournament, PSL match, and the PSL main event, September 2nd through 6th. So a lot of rimfire bench rest there. And then middle of September, 18th, 19th, 20th, USPSA Area 4 Championships in Van Buren, Arkansas. And then to start off in October 9th, 10th, and 11th, we'll be running the ARA Area 1 tournament in Waco, Texas at Central Texas Rifle and Pistol Club. We've got some more stuff coming after that, but that gets us to the first part of October. So if you're in the area, come out and see us. Any one of those, we'll be glad to meet you. In ARA, Green Sea in South Carolina has got a tournament coming up on the 11th, 9:30 a.m. Arkansas on the 11th. Rimfire Ridge State Tournament, going to have a bunch of tournaments, big weekend there going on the weekend of the 11th. Kentucky, the Northeast Kentucky Fish and Game Club Tournament on the 11th as well. And Waco's going to have a tournament too, Central Texas Rifle and Pistol Club on the 11th. So those are the big ones coming up. Then on the 18th, club tournament over in Georgia, Cedartown, Georgia at Chickenfoot Gun Club. So if you're looking for some rimfire bench rest, that's some upcoming matches for you there. All right, now moving on to Joseph's Oklahoma Sectional USPSA event. What happened in Oklahoma?
Well, it rained a lot. Was one thing that happened. This was a good match for me. Not only I did pretty well at it, considering everything that happened. We got there, and it was supposed to be. I was supposed to shoot all day on the first day.
Friday.
Yeah, on Friday. And so there were 10 stages, I believe. We got through 2 of them, and just this tsunami rolled in. And so we had our first rain delay, and that lasted about an hour. And so sometime pretty quickly after lunch, we tried to start again. That was my first ever experience shooting bagged targets. So they literally, it's like a raincoat that you put over the target. You would think it wouldn't change it that much because it's still just a target that you're looking at, but you get so used to looking at the same thing every time that you shoot it. It did change it a little bit, and I got my first miss, and that was the only miss that I had the whole match, was that third stage after the rain delay. And
so you went through all of it and you only had one mic.
Yeah, and it was
That's pretty good.
It was that one.
For
and
us.
Well, what it was, and I'd never had this happen before, but as soon as it happened, it made sense in my head. There's rain everywhere, there's water everywhere. After my first shot, it was it was a medium-sized stage. It was actually, so it was my third stage to shoot, but it was like stage number 1 of the match. And it was a medium-sized stage. It wasn't super long, but it wasn't really that short. Well, it did have some pretty far targets. Well, after my first shot, all the water that was on that slide splashed up onto my red dot, and one dot turns into 50 little small dots that are refracting off all the water. And you don't know, it's like a laser show up there. And I had one mic. and it made me so mad. Which at the time I didn't know that was only going to be my only mic. That at that time it was like, okay, well there's my first one. You know,
Right.
it ended up being my only one. But I had a couple D's. I think I shot 6 D's the whole match. Like they were all on that same stage. So you take that, you throw that stage out, and I had an awesome match. Uh, but I've got that experience now of kind of shooting in the rain, and I had been trying to keep my sight dry and wiping everything off. After that first shot, it just splattered water all over that thing, and it was all downhill from there. But I ended up finishing pretty well. But after that day, so they completely shut down after that stage. They basically came by, told us finish up and then go home. Come back tomorrow. And so it went from shooting all day because it was still like 2 o'clock. It took us over an hour to shoot that one stage, and we had 9 or 10 people in our squad. Um, so we got 3 done the first day. They were supposed to shoot all 10. So they delayed it back, came back Saturday morning, which we were supposed to be finished by then. And so a lot of people ended up leaving because they only planned on being there for one day and then going home. And so our squad shrunk from 9 or 10 people to like 6 people, I think, which made Saturday go by faster, but it also pushed everybody that was supposed to start Saturday morning to that afternoon because they changed the schedule to where we shot from like 7 to whenever we finished, and then everybody else started at 1 o'clock. And I did pretty well after Friday. I was checking practice score, and I finally got a class. I found out that I was a C class open shooter, and so this was my first match with the classification, and I ended up finishing second in C class. I had one out of the C class guys. I had one stage win, and I don't remember which one it was, but I was happy about that. The guy I was like second or third in each stage after obviously the guy that won, and I think I ended up being like 47th overall out of like 180. I mean, there's a bunch of people there. I was pretty happy with how I did. That one miss is the only thing that bothers me. I wish I didn't have that, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with how I shot. And they're sending me something. Like it's probably like a little piece of paper that says second place in C class or whatever. But
That's right.
I won something, so I'm happy about that too. Did finish over Blake because he didn't shoot.
That's right.
He dropped out after he saw all the rain.
He wound up going to another match that got
And
rained
it
out
got
as well.
rained out too.
Oh, we also want to throw a shout out to Blake. Blake got married
He did get married. Finally. I mean, I don't know.
on like a Monday.
Yeah. I guess nowadays nobody knows what day it is. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. COVID.
But no, I had a good match. Despite all the rain and everything like that, it was actually a good match for me. I'm happy with how I shot.
All right. Well, good deal.
And no gun malfunctions. No, nothing like that.
Just the water on the.
Just the water. Just and that does it. It totally changes what.
Well, you got to learn to do that because now you'll never do it again.
I don't know if
You
it would
shouldn't do
matter.
it again.
That's
You
one
gotta
of those things. Because after doing it, you could shoot with a wet dot all day long. I don't think it's gonna matter. I don't think you can get that good with it because you don't know what you're looking at. But
You
I
got to
mean,
turn it off and ignore it.
something. We did have one guy. He was shooting carry optics. I don't know if his battery kept shaking loose or what. His dot flat out just turned off in the middle of like 2 or 3 stages, and we'd be patching, and he'd be like, "Man, that's good, 'cause I didn't even have a dot." He'd get like an A or a C hit or something, and that's good. I'm happy with that 'cause I didn't even have a dot. But no, it was a good match for me. I'm happy with it, and it actually had a classify. The stage that we sponsored was a classifier stage,
Right.
and I think I ended up because they have these parameters that, based on your hit factor, it'll show you like what a C class hit factor is, and a B class and an A class. And I think on the classifications I actually had a B class time or a B class hit factor, and so I was happy about that too.
Yep, good. Moving on up. Well, while y'all were doing that, I did something a little bit uh, different. First time I'd ever done that. I was the guest on a podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So I was on the Mighty Angel podcast. You can go to mightyangelpodcast.com. That comes from Matthew Angel, who's grew up here in Winters where we live now, where we both of us grew up, and he has a podcast he does over work, leadership, faith, and family. And anyway, he interviewed me, and we talked about a lot of those particular topics: work, leadership, faith, and our family. And was just interested mainly in me about how I was a chiropractor and I still licensed, but how I practiced that and did that for 12 years, and then wound up getting into the shooting sports and all that, and how that affects me raising my kids with my wife and whatnot, and as well as our faith as well. So I was interested. So if anybody's interested in hearing me ramble for even more, you can go to mightyangelpodcast.com. That's MIGHTY. And we had a lot of fun.
Was that like a sit down deal, or did you call in, or?
No, I called in.
Oh, okay.
I went down to the shop down there and got all alone and had my headset and called in, just like we're going to do with Jim Cannon here in a little bit, and did the phone call interview. So it was interesting too, seeing how he does things, and does of course Matthew's doing that one, and I guess this is his second season. I think mine may be the first episode of season 2. Anyway, we did a little geeking out on the technology and how to do things and whatnot, what boards we use and microphones and all that kind of stuff. But it was a lot of fun. MightyAngelPodcast.com. All right, well, let me see if I can get Jim Cannon on the phone here, and we'll move on with Jim Cannon.